wearing all black, being aggressive, hitting bombs. Got to hit bombs off the tee to be able to get to those small sections. That's what I'm going to do today. Hit bombs and attack the pin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press Podcast. My name is JC, joined here today with my co-host Jeff. This is episode number 9, recapping the U.S. Open, recapping our adventures out to Nakoma Resort. Jeff, what's going on today?
Not too much. Just kind of recovering from our whirlwind of a week we had. It started down in Pebble Beach in Monterey. Went back to work for a little bit and then ended up in Nakoma, which was a beautiful trip. And I'm kind of tired, but I'm recovering.
Yeah, I think like the weather changes that we went through from like going from like 105 degrees to like 90 degrees in pants and long sleeves to traveling back to work wearing what we wear, and then going from there to like 75 shorts and like tank tops and flip flops and enjoying ourselves out in Nakoma. It just, my body, I don't think has adjusted either from the sunburn or the mosquito bites or the, just the whirlwind of our travels.
Well, I will say that in the 7 days that we did our trips and through work in between, for once, we actually probably packed wrong both trips. We go to Monterey where it's supposed to be in the 70s, 60s, and it's 93 and we're wearing black pants. Then we run up to Nakoma and we think, oh, it's going to be beautiful, 73, we'll wear shorts. Well, you wear shorts and then, probably wasn't the best up there.
and that's we're new at this. We're new at this whole golf entertainment thing, and we're learning.
We need bigger suitcases.
One, we need bigger suitcases. 2, we need a bigger car. Yeah. The Aloha Pressmobile is not. I think we're gonna have to upgrade to like a minivan or something.
So I was just talking to my wife on the way over here about. She asked me if I like my truck.
Yeah,
I said I love my truck. I said I'll never get rid of it, but I wish we had a bigger car. And she goes, "Well, why is that?" And I said, "Because we have to lose a seat to carry my golf clubs everywhere we go. That's why we had to take 2 cars up to Nakoma." So she said, "Next time we go buy a car, we'll bring my clubs with me, and we'll see if they fit."
We're gonna have to invest in like. And I don't think it'd be a great business idea, but or a business decision. But I think if we can get Aloha Press like Sprinter van, like where we could have like maybe multiple bags or like some extra gear, maybe some suitcases filled with gear that's made for different types of weather. Because we do travel from the beach to the mountain to play golf, and I don't know. We'll
Someday.
Future.
That'd be built for comfort.
It would be built for comfort.
We were not built for comfort these last.
No, we were not. We were cram packed in little SUVs, and with all the things that come with that. It was still a good, still was a good little adventure.
Well, you know what? Sure. And I'm not a good traveler. I really hate being in the car. I don't mind flying places, but both those trips were about 3-hour drives, and they were fine. I was so excited on the way there. Obviously, those don't count. But even coming home, it kind of went by quick. You stop and get a bite to eat one time, and you're home, and it was no big deal.
Yeah, and especially where we're located out in Northern California, here in the foothills of Amador County, it's a short drive to Pebble Beach, which was great, and which is kind of disappointing because that was the first time that we were there walking the grounds on Tuesday, the practice round. We had a pretty good podcast at Pacific Grove, sitting out about 100 yards from the graveyard, after a race to the bottle. Jeff, what was the thing that you remember the most, or what was the funnest thing that that we experienced at the U.S. Open on that practice round?
For the practice round, for me, the best thing that I got to do was just kind of walk those grounds to see the views that you see on TV, like we were talking about the video games, Tiger Woods golf that we would play, because a lot of times that's how people know it. When we went back to work the other day, one of our coworkers told me, he goes, "I know every hole at that course. I've never been there," all because of Tiger Woods golf.
Exactly.
So seeing that, looking at the rough, I really wanted to see how thick the rough was going to be, because comparing it to what we saw at the PGA, obviously when we got there, it wasn't as thick. We knew it would grow throughout the week, but just seeing all that, being around it, I liked seeing the guys play, but we really didn't pay much attention to shots or them playing a full hole. We kind of just took it all in. and on the other end, it just made us want to play. So
Exactly.
it's tough. We spent about 7-8 hours there.
Yeah.
Didn't get to touch a club. Didn't get to hit a ball.
was-
couldn't find a ball.
No.
We looked for a couple freebies in the weeds. Couldn't find one. They do a pretty good job picking that place before it starts.
It for me, just being aware of like 17-mile drive and like it's like a 2-lane little road. There's no street lights. There's no reflectors on the ground. And for how big that place is, how big and how much infrastructure was brought in, and like there was massive buildings that were built.
It's
Just
like
getting
its
in
own
that place.
city.
Oh.
They built a city in that neighborhood for this tournament.
It was like building a Sutter Creek
Yes.
for one weekend.
Yes.
For 1 week.
And I will say, we went on Tuesday, so there wasn't as many people, but we had a great ride in. I kind of felt like I was the president riding that big black Escalade, or what did we ride in?
It was GMC Denali.
A Denali.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Big Carl giving us a ride in.
Yep.
And, getting us there early in the morning, no problem. We would have probably got lost trying to find our way. It's like amazing there. But yeah, it's awesome. It is. It's almost like a tent city. I mean, there's just things everywhere.
And it was cool how they it's kind of cool and kind of weird. I felt like a piece of cattle or like a sheep, being run through the chute, because they set you up and then you get to, you walk through like where all the merchandise is, through some of the vendors, and then you walk down through the where Pebble Beach has their little par 3 course. You get to walk through there and see all those little cool like little activities that kids can do, and then you walk in and then you walk up over, next to the clubhouse, and then all of a sudden you like on the number one tee.
It's like,
it was like,
but
there.
The logistics of that place and the planning is obviously really, really good, because they've got it just seems like when you're thinking, man, I'm thirsty, or man, I'm hungry, or man, I'd really like to buy a hat and a shirt. There it is. There's
Yep.
that tent.
It's always
it's
there.
like perfectly positioned that as you maneuver your way throughout that little grounds in the city, that we'll call it, there's always something there for you, and it's like always the right timing. Even if it's a restroom, and they had 8 million outhouses. So,
There was a lot.
It was
Truckloads of outhouses. And
Yeah.
that was what was, because you think like 50,000 people at that place, like that's a lot of bathroom breaks.
And you notice they hit them all with the green
Yeah.
screens. Like you couldn't see them on TV. There's no way you're
No.
going to catch a picture. And a few of them, I don't know about the ones you went in, but a couple of them were crooked. And I felt like I was peeing like at an angle. I don't know. It's kind of dangerous, but if you were a little tipsy, you might fall down inside of one of those things.
It was the urinals were definitely and I don't know why we're talking about it. We went to Pebble Beach, one of the nicest places in the world, and we're talking about porta potties.
They were clean.
They were super clean.
Never
It was
had a
great.
line.
And it just, because we've never been to a tour event or a major championship, it was unique to see how they set up the holes and set up the camera angles to avoid some of those shots. Some of the things that might not meet the eye on TV, but we were kind of in that mix. I mean, one of the walking paths was through like the maintenance yard.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like, hey, how do you get to the 4th hole? And they're like, through that where all those lawnmowers are. Yeah, go walk through there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool.
Yeah, we tried to get somebody to get on one of the tractors. She wouldn't do it.
We wanted to speed up the greens a little bit. Cut down some rough.
Yes.
Per Kevin Na. You want to really knock all that rough down.
No. How did he do?
I don't.
Did he make the cut?
I don't know. I don't even care.
I'm pretty sure for the rest of my life, I'm asking how Kevin Na does in a major tournament.
Do you want to know? I mean, we can look it up. I don't know how Kevin Na did. I know my pick didn't do very well, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the one thing that shocked me the most is
He didn't make the cut.
he,
There you go.
Pretty
72, 77,
pretty tough.
home for the weekend.
But what surprised me the most was the land movement within the. I mean, you're talking about porta potties being on the side of a hill. There was not a flat piece of ground out there except the tee boxes, and that was just what.
Yeah, and they're tiny.
They're super small.
They're like the size of a mattress.
It
Like a
was
twin
crazy. Yes, like it was crazy because some guy Phil lined up on one time, like his feet were in the rough,
Yeah.
just to get a little bit better angle from his.
He gave himself a hook lie.
Yeah, he sure did. with his 18-inch driver.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That you're right though. There was no flat lie out there, and a lot of that, off the tee, those guys got to land it in the right spot because you can hit the middle of the fairway and it's going to run 20, 30 yards, either into the rough or off a cliff.
Yeah.
So,
And it was so cool to see because, it's Pebble Beach Golf Links. It was cool to see that there was no water hazards in the sense of ponds, but there was one giant water hazard, the Pacific Ocean, which was so cool to see it. It came into play on so many different holes. And it wasn't like your ball was rolling into a pond where there might be an alligator or, a catfish or some guy diving for golf balls. Like there's great whites out there. Like
yeah, there's going to be a shark.
It's not your typical water hazard. So I thought that was really cool. And then because TV doesn't do Pebble Beach justice at all, it makes it look relatively flat. And then the one thing that shocked me the most wasn't just the small greens. And I'm used to playing out at Castle Oaks. Greens are typically pretty small, and you got to be a pretty good ball striker to hit those greens. But what surprised me the most was if you did miss one of those greens, that the bunker that you had to hit out of was like a crater. Like,
and speaking of that, that's kind of the thing that shocked me was because you'd see the small greens and the bunkers, and then they talked about in one of the things I listened to is how over time the sand coming out of those bunkers has continually grown the lip.
right.
And it's gotten deeper and deeper. And the greens have gotten more severely sloped to where now they have these bowl effects to different flags, around the bunkers. I don't know. It just up and downs there. I don't know if I could ever get up and down. I'd have to make it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'd have to chip it in because it was just incredible. And, for everyone out there listening, we really appreciate the download, the listen, the likes, the Apple reviews. We really appreciate all that stuff. If you've never been to a tour event, if there's one near you, go. Just go. Because you're going to see things that on your home golf course, they just don't do. And the winning score was 13 under, and I think I would have shot like 130.
Yeah,
because some of those par fours that are like reachable, or some of those what they talked about shorter holes, those were massive holes. Like those guys hit it so far.
Well, I will say this. Speaking of, when you asked kind of what I took away from it or what shocked me, another huge thing was the weather, because we've played golf in Monterey and
Yes.
we've played golf down there at some tough courses, Poppy Hills, Bayonet. And when it blows and it gets foggy and it's cold, it is tough. It is really tough. Those guys didn't have that this week. I
think they did a little bit, just some of the lower temperatures, but yeah, they did not have the wind. No one was hit. I mean, I can't remember who won back in 1992, but the dude on number 7 was hitting 6-iron to a 100-yard hole because it was blowing like 40 off the Pacific.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. We've played in some of those conditions, and they had a light breeze. Had it got really windy, who knows where the scores would have gone down to.
Absolutely. And so the really cool thing about the practice round was kind of the interactions with the players, and we've got some unique stories that we interacted with some of the players. Number one hole, seeing those guys tee off, Phil Mickelson coming to the box, and just some of the shots he was hitting. He's a big dude. Like, I didn't realize how big that guy was.
He is. I'm kind of disappointed he didn't give us any love.
He didn't.
We that's all I was waiting for was to see.
We didn't
Phil.
get a thumbs up.
Nothing. It took me screaming about his calves afterwards because I was just upset at him.
That's true.
So, which his calves are pretty magnificent. They're nice and tan, humongous. He obviously works out.
He clearly is the Stairmaster king because that dude.
Because he's still got a belly.
He still does look like a dad. But so just seeing some of those players and, just coming to the number one tee and then walking out and just, the rough wasn't as crazy as I thought it'd be. But the width of the fairways and, you had to be so accurate. And those guys, some of those recovery shots those guys were hitting just in the practice round alone were just incredible on how good they were. And so these guys, if you've never been to a tour event, in the practice round, for them to get prepared for the actual greens and the rough and the sand bunkers, they go and hit their tee shots, get to the fairway, and then they start hitting shots into the green. But once they're in and around the green, they have not only their caddy, but maybe their agent or maybe some of their family members there. But so there's like 30 people on this green, and they're not only hitting to the flag stick that's on in the practice round, but they're also hitting to like these little like plastic cups that they throw down into different areas where they think the cups might be. So then they're, besides just putting, their caddies throwing balls into the bunkers, they're throwing them into the rough and having to hit different chip shots and they're reading the greens in different ways. So I thought that was pretty cool because if you and I were up there hitting bunker shots with 30 people around the green, I might be taking people out. Like I might hit.
They'd have to issue helmets around the green.
Exactly. They look like hockey players when we're playing.
But that was kind of neat to see them around the greens or along the fairways because they threw those balls in the hardest possible spots. Right? Like when we go to the range, we put it the best lie every time so we can get a good strike on it. And they were doing the exact opposite on the course, trying to find the most difficult places that they could possibly end up in throughout the week, throw it in there, and they were still hitting it close.
Oh, yeah, especially with how fast those greens were.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching them flop these balls. You can't even see the ball, and their club goes through and more grass comes up than anything, and it just lands soft. It kind of rolls out, and it's on cement.
Yeah, and the cool thing about, and I don't want to say the cool thing, they're taking like full swings to get it out of this rough, to hit it, not 30 yards. They're hitting it like 3 yards, and that was just incredible. I mean, I would feel very nervous about hitting shots like that.
Yeah, I think we watched Phil and Rom and those guys on number 2, and that little tiny green long ass hole. But yeah, they were just hitting some shots that were like, man, we'd be heads up, we'd be taking out people left and right trying to hit these shots right now. There ain't no way.
So that was really cool to see, and because I never known that or never knew how that they went about preparing through the week.
Well, exactly. If we played a practice round without seeing that, we would just go play 18 holes.
Yeah, that's what I thought a practice round was.
Right? We would just play golf.
I'm going to try and qualify for the NCGA pub links, to go play at Poppy Hills in a couple weeks, and we played a practice round a couple weeks ago at a course that I'm going to try and qualify at, and I didn't do any of those things.
You didn't do your homework.
No, I took 0 notes.
Right.
I didn't hit any chip shots around the green when I did hit the green. And then I didn't putt to different places. I didn't think about any of one. And then I also got the wrong tee box. So I played one tee box back.
That's true.
So what we're going to qualify for.
In reality, it should be a little easier.
A little bit easier, yeah.
A little shorter, hopefully.
So I might have to sneak down there and get a true practice round. Because now I know what these guys actually do and, how they prepare and what the announcers, I don't want to give the announcers too much shit, but the announcers during the week don't give you like they always say like, oh, they, during the week when they prepared, but they don't ever explain those practice rounds. And, seeing that, and hopefully we can, let people know how that they actually prepare for those things. It makes for a long day, a long 9 holes.
You wonder, well, now we understand why they only were playing 9 holes a day.
Exactly.
Because it takes 4 hours to play 9 holes.
Because they're hitting like triple the amount of shots that you would normally hit. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun to watch and hopefully educational.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a little educational. So I didn't there's so many iconic holes out of Pebble Beach. And some people argue that if the Pacific Ocean wasn't there, that Pebble Beach wouldn't be what Pebble Beach is. And me being there and seeing it in person, and then also having the ability to actually go play it and walk the same grounds that Tiger Woods and all the greats have, I think those people are idiots. I mean, the Pacific Ocean is just part of it. And I mean, being able to see Carmel and the beach there where people are running around with dogs and, they have no idea that the U.S. Open is going on and they're just hanging out by the beach.
No, they could care less. They could have a ball hit by Tiger Woods come down on the down there and they'd be like, oh, this is cool. And they'd throw it in the water. Like, go get it, dog. They don't care.
So that was really cool. And just itself and having the capability and the ability to go and play that same venue that those guys have, is just remarkable. So I think we're going back. And I'm excited that the U.S. Open is going to go back there.
Yeah.
Because I think we got to get the Aloha Press house maybe on the course. I don't know. See where the company's at.
That would be nice. All right. Maybe play a practice round with Phil or Tiger. I don't know.
Maybe in the pro-am. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. But so with your takeaway, what was the favorite hole for you out at Pebble Beach when we walked the grounds?
I think the one I want to play the most would be number 6.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of them along the ocean, and there's a lot of the long, tough ones that are kind of more inland. But number 6, just that second shot, blind up the hill, not the longest of par 5s, not knowing where it ends up, but you hit it and you hit it online, and you're kind of excited, and you get to get up there and see. And sometimes they ended up good for the guys, and sometimes they thought they hit a great shot, and it kind of hit a slope and went the other way, or ended up in that bunker, and then they're pissed. That for me is the hole that I took away from our time there that I'd love to play.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize. I mean, I guess I realized a little bit playing, EA Sports Tiger Woods, but how big that hill was.
Right.
I mean, it was.
And back in the day,
it was like a mountain.
It had a big tree on the right side.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Rough.
Yeah.
So I went back and I was watching some highlights from the 2010 Open there.
Yeah.
And rough lining the right side of the cliff, a big old tree there, and then it's gone. They've shaved it. They took the tree out and all that stuff. So
well, can you imagine like when they designed that? I mean, when was Pebble Beach open? Like 1919, I think.
When it was like pure sand with a little grass green.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine one of those like wooden drivers with like one of those like old hickory shaft, irons?
Yeah. Well, they were saying that God, who was it? Roger Maltby or one of those guys were saying that back in the 72,
okay.
I think when they played there, they were hitting drivers on 17.
I believe
those
it.
Little wooden persimmon drivers, because that's what they had to hit to get to that hole. Obviously it's blowing 40 into them too, but that's just crazy. You got the guys standing up there now. It's 220, somewhere around there, and they're hitting 7 iron, 6 iron. It's like, Jesus,
just crazy. So for me, I think my favorite hole is 18. I mean, where the tee box is, and then just knowing that if you hit it anywhere left, you're in the ocean. Like there's no you can bail out right, which we saw a bunch of players do, but I think it's just a really cool finishing hole, and it's just so iconic, and especially when it's blowing 30 and it's overcast, and it's just I don't know. I just think it's such a cool hole, and just the way you kind of finish on the ocean and with that little green and
tough too, because it's not a real easy layup.
No, not at all.
The approach to the green's tough. If we had to play it in U.S. Open conditions where it's hard as a rock, good luck. Hopefully in the resort side of it, when we go play it, it'll be nice and lush for us, and we can spin one back or hit to a soft green. Hopefully,
yeah, hopefully.
But 18 is pretty awesome. We spent some time there, and we got to see Rory hit bombs. Did we watch Ricky on 18 too?
I don't think we watched Ricky.
What else did we watch?
We watched.
Oh, Victor Hovland, the amateur shot.
Yeah.
Broke Jack Nicklaus's record. He was playing with Rory that day.
He freaking can bomb it too.
Yeah.
So that was, and then getting into the players, one, it was remarkable the sound that comes off their club. It is nothing like I've ever heard before. That thing is just whistling through the air every time they hit it, and that was kind of cool to hear and see, and just the way they go about. I mean, their misses are so much smaller than ours.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see any bad shots the day we were there.
I didn't see any shanks.
Yeah, they'd missed the green,
yeah.
But it wasn't like us, or even when we watched the actual tournament, when it started, when the nerves started to get to the guys, and you see them hitting it into the tents and stuff. That was not happening in the practice round. There were no nerves. I think, Rory's ball sounded different. The drivers, not so much, but the irons. But I remember when we walked up to 17 later in the day, and Tony Finau was up on the tee. And I don't know what he was hitting, maybe an 8 iron, 200 yards, but that thing cracked. And it was, the swing speed and just his length, with his arms and his body, it sounded different than a lot of the guys out there.
So I think it was a really cool experience, and I can't wait until we have the opportunity to go back, not only just to play it, but also to experience it again. Because I think the one thing that I think we did a good job of is we took it all in, and we there was many times where we just like hunkered down and we like all right, this is the best of the best. And I think that was cool that we did that. We didn't spend too much time, following one player, or, we really walked all the holes and we got to see the whole piece of property, and we really just experienced it as a fan of not only the players, but also the golf course. And I think that was awesome. So
yeah, it's going to be different when we go back, when the tournament's not there, because I had never seen it before. So I'm only going to know it as the freaking U.S. Open city.
right.
So it's going to be different when you're like, oh, yeah, here's the clubhouse. I'm like, what? I don't have to walk through 18,000 tents and all these
Yeah,
other things
exactly.
to get to it. But it was awesome. It was a really good time.
So let's lighten it up a little bit. Okay. One, they serve cocktails out there. Okay. They serve some beers.
Yes,
okay.
they're very good.
The food was pretty good. I was surprised. It wasn't like clown food. It was
eating
good prepared food.
Bratwurst for breakfast.
Yeah.
I had a cheeseburger for lunch. You ordered a cheeseburger and got a chicken cheeseburger.
Yeah,
I don't know what you got, but they had really good white wine, from what my wife said.
Yeah.
Jim Beam, Michelob Ultras. We'd hydrate at some point.
Absolutely. It's hot out there.
No, they did a good job. I mean, the food and beverage side of it was pretty good.
And that was kind of surprising, because you go to county fair, and I don't know why I relate it to a county fair, but the food there was just like really good. It was like restaurant style food, and
it was. And the way they set up some of the eatery spots on the course, especially on the left side of 10, it was like a bar / restaurant / club, everything. And I'm sure that they had 20, 30 plus tables outside on the patio, overlooking the 10 fairway, where you could just hang out if you wanted to get away from the course for a little bit and kind of just chill. It wasn't like you just had to walk up to a little booth, grab your beer and run. They had places to hang out too. So, and a first aid tent that had sunscreen. So,
which is huge, because it was so freaking hot out.
Yeah.
So then we hunkered down on, was it number 9? No, it was 10.
10
whole 10. Yeah. And if you guys follow us on Instagram, you probably saw some of the photographs. And Jeff's wife, Clarissa, got some autographs. One from Ricky Fowler, which he's not a big dude.
He's tiny.
He is, he's my size.
Yes. Yeah.
But that was shocking.
Mullet game was strong.
It was strong.
No sideburn mullet takes some balls. It really does.
It's really strong.
Yeah.
That might have been an accident.
Yeah. I mean, the best mullet I've ever seen in my life was Blake Shelton. Maybe Billy Ray Cyrus back in the day.
Billy Ray, definitely.
But Ricky going with in his straight, it's a straight hair. So it's not like curled up. It doesn't have no body to it.
No volume.
But with no sideburns, that takes some balls. It's weird.
He was rocking it pretty hard.
Yeah. But he signed autographs. He was awesome.
He was really good to the fans. I mean, it was kind of different. I mean, he didn't really interact with anyone like you thought he would. He just kind of walked over and he just did his job. He's like, all right, I got to sign 200 autographs. All right, give
kind
me
of
a
like
Sharpie.
been there, done that. No eye contact. Just. But it was a really nice signature. I'll have to give that
cool.
much. It wasn't like scribbling. It looked like it's kind of like Arnold Palmer back in the day.
Yeah,
would sign everyone the same.
Yep.
Michael Jordan the same way. Michael Jordan obviously signed a lot less than Arnold Palmer, but it was neat. If we were doing it, we'd probably just scribble.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It'd be like, hurry up, I'm playing.
But I don't know
major.
if somebody ever wanted our autograph, maybe we would sign it nice. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, there's always a first.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was cool. And it was really, and there was only a handful of players that would sign autographs, which was neat. The one thing that shocked me was how the crowds would only follow certain players. Like we wanted to follow Phil, but then he was playing with John Rahm, and John Rahm is getting zero love from anyone.
Yeah.
Like no one gave a shit about John Rahm, which is crazy because he's one of the up and coming guys. Like he's going to be, when Phil retires, he's the next guy. I mean, he's going to be another guy who's going to win a bunch.
I mean, in the whole day we spent out there, Tiger obviously didn't show for his tee time, so we didn't get to see Tiger, which, kind of sucks, but oh well. But Phil and Brooks had the people following him.
Yeah.
Other than that, you'd walk down the fairway and be like, oh, there's Zach Johnson, major champion. Nobody cares. He looks like a little kid with shorts on. Nobody knows who he is. And then, oh, there's, Adam Scott. Great, awesome, major champion. Nobody cares. Nobody's
Jason
following
Duffner.
him.
No one gave a shit.
Duff. I
except
just want
us.
to walk up and hand him a beer and a burger and say, "Hey, dude, let's go play."
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't really care. They really don't. But the big guys, the main guys, that's where you heard a little hooting and hollering, a little cheering.
Which was, and for us, because we were such fans of the game, we're such fans of the players and following their stories and stuff and paying attention for so long that we have, calling out to Jason Duffner and him like looking at you like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I heard you."
And then he does his little waggle. I still got that video. I haven't released it yet.
That's awesome.
Just a little waggle and a bomb.
I love it.
Bomb right down number 10.
Jason Duffner is one of my favorite players, and I don't know why. Maybe because he looks like the rest of us.
Yep. Give zero, you know what? I'm not cussing on this podcast. Right?
Yeah, you got in trouble last time. Our rating went from R to E or something.
Yeah. What did the FCC came after me or something like that?
I don't know. Yeah. Just like who was your boy that got suspended on his own podcast?
Hank Haney?
Yeah. Moron.
Yeah. Well, he went a different way. I can cuss. I can get drunk and cuss and whatever. It's our own podcast. We can do what
exactly.
we want.
But then, so we met, or she met Ricky Fowler. But then, who was it? Paul Casey came over.
Paul Casey was a good dude.
Yeah, he came over and he was looking to sign some autographs. I don't know if a lot of people knew who he was. We knew who he was, and our interaction was unique.
Well,
I guess
we didn't. We were probably one of the 3 or 4 people out of that whole crowd that knew who he was, and he came up and, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. Something happened. I've been to a lot of sporting events, celebrity golf tournaments, basketball games, baseball games, and been a kid trying to get autographs. And when you go to get autographs, you just want something from them. Well, JC took it another level. He didn't want an autograph from Paul Casey. He didn't want a picture. He didn't want anything. He wanted to give him something. So he's giving him a sticker, and Paul Casey took it.
He did. And I asked him, "Hey, you want a sticker?" He's like, "What?" I'm like, everyone wants everything from you, and no one's going to give anything to you. And so I gave him a sticker. And heck, maybe he'll be on the podcast. Maybe he followed. Maybe listening right now.
I don't know. He was shocked, but he kept it. He put it in his pocket.
Yeah, he walked away with it. And he smiled, and he gave us. I think he gave us a thumbs up, and maybe we got a new fan. I don't know.
Yeah, my wife knows who he is now.
Exactly.
She had no clue who Paul Casey was till then.
I'm a fan of the Englishman. I didn't know he was from England. Now I do.
His caddy, Johnny Long Socks. I saw him.
Very
He was
cool.
out there. He wears the high like old school Nikes, Jordans.
I like
the
that.
ones.
That was good. So then we met some Spanish media. From Spain. Those guys were really, I don't want to say dicks, but they were freaking mean. They were
quite comical, very honest, I guess we should say.
So they pull up in this golf cart, and they've got all their camera gear and stuff, and we can relate to that because we do some filming, big time. And this guy, and we're like, "Hey, where are you guys from?" They're like, "Oh, we're from Spain. Cool. All right, cool, great." They're explaining to us that we're trying to get an interview with Sergio Garcia.
That's all they wanted. That's all they cared about.
They didn't give a shit about anything else. And I'm like, "Hey, do you want a sticker?" He's like, "We can't accept stickers." And I'm like, "What? Like, why can't you have a sticker? Like, it's just a sticker. Like, we're not giving. Like, I'm not giving you money. Like, this is just a sticker. Like, give it to your kid. I don't care." And so Jeff asked him like, "Hey, who do you got to win the U.S. Open?" And who did he say? Dustin Johnson.
Something like that. And I said, "Not Sergio?" He goes, "Oh, no.
No, not Sergio. No.
It's like the one guy they're there to see, the one guy they're there to cover. They want an interview with him.
Just talking shit about
him. No, we don't want him to win.
Nope.
Or I don't pick him to win. And they were also wearing like down parkas and zip up.
They clearly did not read the weather forecast like we did.
It was 93 degrees. I mean, we were in long pants sweating.
So then they get back in their cart and they cannot figure out how to put it in reverse. Like, and just the buzzing sound, when you stick a golf cart in like neutral and it's just like, and we're like, "Hey, bud, you got to keep clicking it that way." He could not figure it out.
It was to the point where you're about to jump under the rope and go show him how to drive his goddamn golf cart.
So they go chasing after Sergio Garcia, and Sergio walks up like directly past, like doesn't give a shit about those guys because they probably heard that he didn't pick them. But then walks up to us, and your wife yells out to him.
Well, he tried to ignore the crowd. He did, and he's always, got a little bit of dickhead in him, I should say. He tried his best to ignore the crowd and walk right by us. And then my wife went all Hispanic on him because she is Hispanic, and she called him Sergio or whatever she said.
She rolled some R's.
Got his attention.
Oh yeah.
Next thing you know, he's got the Aloha press hat in his hand. Takes it from her, starts signing it. Well, he already had a pin ready, which is weird because
Yeah,
we
which was
didn't
weird.
have any pins.
No, we didn't have any
So
pins.
he obviously was going to sign some type of an autograph. And then he took off with the hat,
He just kept walking.
gone into the crowd.
Yep.
So what's any other Latina woman going to do? She's going to go get her goddamn hat back.
Yeah.
So
So she yells out to him, and sure enough, he stops, turns around after signing the hat, and flips it to her after she had crawled underneath the nylon, eighth of an inch rope,
right,
which
breached
is
the barrier.
breached the wall of California, and goes up, and Sergio tosses her the hat. She grabs the hat, turns around, climbs back underneath the rope, and this marshal
Done.
turns and just like, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. You do it again, you're gone. That's your one warning.
And we're like,
thanks, bud.
like what? Like what do you do? Like Sergio clearly stole the hat. Like she was just recovering the property.
I got video of it.
Exactly.
Right?
So
and not to mention it was one of the movable barriers.
they
he
weren't even
moved the rope.
He was holding
to
the
let him
rope
go through. So it's not even like she really crossed it.
No, she didn't do anything wrong. And he's, if you ever do that again, you're out of here. And I'm like, dude, like just chill out. Like, come on, just relax. He's like, no, that was a serious offense.
Yeah.
I'm like, clearly you have way too much to worry about than just the rope holder of.
He's lucky she didn't have 2 or 3 more white wines.
Exactly. He'd have been on the ground.
She might have been beating his ass.
So we had some cool interactions with some players, and that was unique, and that was what we expected with a practice round. And if you've got little kids, if you've got any inclination or any want to go see these guys, really play some really cool golf at the highest level. If there's a tournament near you, if it's an LPGA, if it's a mini tour, if it's a web.com or what is the LPGA Symmetry Tour, Symmetra Tour, any of those things, go out, check them out. Spend the U.S. Open practice round, $60. You can't do anything for 9 hours for $60.
No, you know what? I can only imagine at some of the smaller tournaments or the ones that aren't a major tournament, aren't that important, where practice rounds, play 2-3 rounds in a row, the guys are probably a lot more interactive, and probably would give a little bit more time to the crowd in those type of tournaments than they do at a major, because obviously
It's a huge
doing the
deal.
homework there is kind of
Yeah.
a big thing. Doing it at Bay Hill where they've played 3,000 times and they're playing pro-ams and this and that, they'd probably give you a little bit more. But even with that, we still had some good stories.
Yeah, we walked away with some cool experiences, and the people there are so respectful, and it was just cool. It was cool to buy the gear, and we're going to be shipping off a hat to Laura.
Black?
Black.
All right.
Oh yeah, got a black U.S. Open hat.
I remember her requesting that in our last podcast.
Yeah, I'm surprised
From
you did.
what I remember.
So, as we transition, we really want to thank Wade's Farm for supporting us. He helped us out with some of the costs going down to the U.S. Open. And, with Wade's Farm, the weather's getting warmer, vegetables are growing. He's going to be making some deliveries very, very soon. So if you have subscribed, if you're thinking about subscribing, get on that list. Subscribe to Wade's Farm. I know there's a few spots available. It's only, I think it's $75, to Wade's Farm. Go out, subscribe, contact Wade at wadesfarm209@gmail.com, or you can reach him on our website, thealohapress.com. He's going to be delivering his organic, fresh vegetables.
Well, you know what? If you follow Wade, or if you don't, you probably should. He posts a lot of pictures and videos of his garden, and it's lush this year. I mean,
It is.
He can probably take on a few more subscribers. I know he thought he was sold out, and he kind of needed to hold back, but his vegetables are looking prime, and they're growing like crazy, especially with this heat right now.
Yep.
So
go check him out. I know he's got some T-shirts to sell too. So you can. I think we might be able to put a link on our website so you can buy those on our website. But again, check out Wade's Farm. So we really appreciate his support through our process, through the learn how to do this podcast thing. So we really appreciate him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aloha Press Podcast. Thanks for joining us again. We really appreciate it. A couple things that we want to touch on. One, if you don't have an Aloha Press shirt or hat, go to our website, go check it out. Help support a couple guys who are doing this part-time, working full-time, kids, family, all that. We're trying to give you some great content, some great information and bring you a product where you can kind of disappear for an hour and just kind of live your life through us and kind of join our foursome. So we really appreciate if you guys support us in purchasing some of our gear, telling people about our podcast, about our Instagram, Facebook, those kinds of things. Join our YouTube channel. So again, go check us out on our website, thealohapress.com. Jeff, so we wrapped up kind of the our experience at Pebble Beach. It was so much fun, and we had a blast, and plan on going back and playing it. But let's get into the tournament. So I know we came back. You had to work a couple days. I had to work a couple days. How did you watch the U.S. Open?
Well, unfortunately for me, I had to work 12-hour day shifts. So most of the time golf was going on, I was at work. But also lucky for me, AT&T and DirecTV have a TV app. So in between work and the things that we had to do, I was able to catch most of the first and second rounds on my phone, kind of bits and pieces. And you know what? The first couple rounds anyway, with so many players and the tee time so spread apart, you're getting Tiger in the afternoon, day one, and then getting them in the morning. That was kind of good because in those first couple rounds, I only pay attention to a few of the guys. I don't need to watch the full day like I do on the weekend.
Right.
So
for me, I watched it on the app itself, so I got to follow the highlighted group. So like Tiger, Brooks, Graham McDowell was in there, Phil Mickelson, all those guys, which was really cool to see kind of the ebbs and flows of their actual round, like from 1 to 18. It was kind of cool to see that. But the one thing I love about the major championship, some of the West Coast swing, is the golf tournament itself is on later. It doesn't end at like 2 in the afternoon.
Golf
and I don't
is
have
on
to get
till
up
7 o'clock.
Exactly. And it was, I look outside and I'm like, oh, it's like 6:30. And I look at my phone, I'm like, oh, of course they're still playing, And
yeah.
So that was really cool. So that's how I watched it. And then getting into the weekend, what I think the coverage did a really good job of is, capturing, and you were able to watch some of the rounds like in a kind of like a highlight reel where you got to kind of catch up to, what some of the players were doing. Like Justin Thomas didn't make the cut and just didn't play well. And, you got to kind of see those highlights. So what was some of the things that you saw during the U.S. Open that, knowing and seeing, the golf course ahead of time, what was some of the things that, kind of shocked or surprised you?
Well, you know what? I wasn't really shocked or surprised a ton. I thought that the rough was not going to be as difficult as the PGA, and it wasn't. They played pretty well. Some of the guys struggled. I think the thing, if I did have to pick something that shocked me, would be when they had a blow hole. And that was mainly just because they'd get in a bad spot, and some guys can deal with it and make a triple and move on, and some guys can't. And those are the guys that make the cut and that don't make the cut. But the other thing is, man, some of the guys that played pretty well just didn't make putts. And that's what it came down to. I mean, the scores, especially Brooks. I mean, you look at it from tee to green, that guy was unbelievable. He just didn't make the birdie putts.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and he was like one of the first guys that ever shot 4 rounds in the 60s and
First
didn't
ever.
win.
Yep.
First
ever.
So let's get into the winner, Gary Woodland. I mean, the guy's ranked 25th in the world, and I don't really know anything about this guy. I mean, he's 35 years old, been on the PGA Tour since 2009. I think the win that I remember was back in, I think it was 2013, the Reno Tahoe,
That he won?
Yeah, that he won. I mean, so looking back and seeing that Gary Woodland has 3 PGA Tour wins. Brooks Koepka has 2 PGA Tour wins. I mean,
yeah.
It's crazy to me that a guy that's ranked 25th in the world, and I don't know a lot about him, which is weird because that dude is playing so well and just isn't on the radar. I mean, no one picked him. No one picked him.
I wouldn't even, I mean, obviously I would have known that he'd probably be in the tournament, but never did his name cross my mind. When I think of Gary Woodland, I think back in the days where he was a Callaway guy and all he was known for was hitting the ball a mile.
Yeah.
Like he hit bombs, that's it. But he couldn't get up and down around the green. He didn't putt very well, and he won 3 times in 8-10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So it was, I don't know, Gary Woodland, I mean, coming down the stretch on Sunday, I mean, you almost thought like this guy's going to falter. I mean, I think he was 0 for 7 with a 54 hole lead, coming into tournaments, and now he's got a 54 hole lead. He's got, what was he at the start of the day? I think he was up 3 strokes or 2. No, or excuse me, sorry, 1.
He was up 1
Justin
over Rose.
Yeah,
4 over Brooks.
Yeah. At any point in time, did you think Justin Rose was gonna win?
No, he went crybaby mode. Like he looked pouty. He'd get mad at the crowd. He'd stare down people. Justin Rose was out of it from the beginning, which is weird because he played really well early on in this tournament to where, everybody probably thought he's the guy that's going to win it until Gary went and shot 65. But yeah, I don't know. Gary Woodland with the Wilson cap on and the Puma gear now, using Wilson clubs.
I love it.
And he's out there just solid, just banging it down. Hitting driver, a lot of the holes guys were hitting irons on Sunday at the U.S. Open. A lot of confidence, right? We'd be freaking hiding behind a 3-iron, just praying that we catch the short grass.
That's true. And so the one thing cool about Gary Woodland is he has mastered also the stinger. Have you seen some of these shots that he's hit? That dude he's almost better than Tiger at the stinger. I mean, it was impressive, some of the ball flights that he could hit with that thing.
Well, I love the stinger. So
I know you do.
Anything low line drive is
love
right
it.
up my alley.
So I'm excited for Gary Woodland. That was such a cool victory to take down Brooksy. How old Brooks Koepka? I mean, that dude. Are we? And again, I've said it before, but are we on? Is he at Tiger's level? I mean, maybe Jack's level. I mean, the dude just does not falter when it comes to major champions. I mean, that dude, I think he's first, second now in the last 4 majors.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the way he started out on Sunday, I mean, we're sitting there, in Nakoma on the couch having a cocktail, watching it after we played the Dragon for the 2nd day in a row. And all of a sudden he's 4 under through 6.
Well, let's go back.
Right?
He makes birdie on number 1. Okay. On number 2, he gets a little crazy with his drive, and then hits this weird chunk, into the ravine.
Do you remember we were at the practice
2.
round? I think I said something like, nobody's ever going to end up in this ravine thing here with a bunker and 60, 70 yards short of the green. Like, these pros aren't going to end up here.
Never, right? Sure enough, he did. He's got a halfway decent line and then sticks it to 4 feet and makes the par putt.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to say Brooks Koepka is taking, for me at least, is taking over that, when he's on the course, I can't miss a shot of his. And because it's just so incredible what he does with the golf ball and the way he goes about it, specifically in major champions.
Well, and we didn't see Tiger on Tuesday, but the feel around Brooks and watching Brooks was different.
Yeah,
it was
way different.
And I can only imagine, during tournament week on a Sunday, what it feels like. But yeah, that guy, I think Xander Schauffele said he's a cockroach. I mean, he just won't go away.
No, he won't.
That guy, he didn't even, in all honesty, Gary Woodland played great. He shot 13 under. He set the freaking record.
Yeah.
But Brooks played average, a little above average at times, but nothing special. 2 under, 2 under, 3 under, 3 under, and he lost.
Did he have 4 bad rounds? That's the scary thing.
Right?
Did he not have his A game and just?
It's like he just
took
couldn't make putts. I mean, he hit more fairways in 1 round than me and you had hit in 2. He made more birdies in 1 round than we make in 4. So
exactly,
he's doing it at the U.S. Open.
Oh, it was incredible. So we want to congratulate Gary Woodland. The dude's a stud. I mean, he worked so hard to get to where he's at. Looks like a really humble guy who hits it a mile, but at the same time, can get up and down from anywhere. He hit a 64-degree wedge on 17. Stupid. I would have taken. I would have bladed it across. I'd have bladed it into the ocean. Okay, or I'd have taken the 6-inch divot. Right? I can't imagine what the superintendent was just. If he would have seen me do that, they would have kicked me off the golf course.
So I read a pretty cool thing that Jack Nicklaus said after the tournament. He was impressed by Gary Woodland on that shot for one, waiting and watching Brooks miss the birdie putt on 18. So he knew he had 2 strokes. But Jack said, give him 100 tries. Same situation, knowing that he's got 2 strokes. He said he would have putted and played for 4 and gone into 18 with a 1-stroke lead.
But he didn't.
It didn't change what Gary Woodland did.
No.
He still flops the 64, gets up and down, and goes into 18 with a 2-stroke lead.
And then makes a 30-footer
And then-
for birdie, and it just erupts.
Yeah.
And it was
How short would you have left that putt? Knowing that you could 3-putt for the win.
Knowing me, I would have blown it by like 8 feet.
Putting from the fringe.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would have been so like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna sink this thing, and then I'd just blown it right through the break. I'd be the first guy that putted into the ocean on 18.
Yeah.
But what killed me watching that round was Justin Rose is slowing the whole tournament down. It from the start of the round on Sunday, Brooks Koepka and who did he play with? I mean, they never showed him, which was kind of irritating. We never even saw the guy who was playing with. I can't even remember because they didn't show him.
I can't tell you either. I don't know.
Which is bullshit. Which is absolute bullshit. The guy earned himself to be in the second to last group, and you don't show a single. I want to see the carnage. I want to see him just shoot an 81 like our Werner. Yeah, I want to see the carnage. That's what I want to see. But then Justin Rose and Gary Woodland are. It seemed like 2 holes behind the entire day. It was like, all right, Brooks is on 18. Where are they at? Oh, they're still in the fairway on 16. It's like, hurry up. Good God. It just, and I know Justin Rose is just aim pointing, plumb ball. I don't know what he's doing. It just drives me absolutely nuts. I mean, Gary Woodland sinks a 30-footer to win the U.S. Open, and all you see in the background is Justin Rose lining up a stupid putt for probably bogey or par or what. I don't even care. It just drove me crazy. I just wanted to tackle the guy in the ocean.
Right? I'm
just
sure he
drives me
really
nuts.
doesn't care if he gets tied 3rd or 4th place. Just get up and hit the goddamn putt.
Exactly.
Right?
Give that guy the opportunity just to celebrate, because you know what? Phil Mickelson did that for you when you won over Phil. Okay.
Nobody cares. Right? If it wasn't Brooks winning, nobody cares. Give it to Gary Woodland. Get the hell out of the way.
Yeah. Let him celebrate with his family, his dad, and it was so cool. So, Sunday was awesome. Being up in Tacoma Resort, chilling in altitude. They're really cool like event center that they have there that kind of shows off everything that they do. We made some strong predictions. We got 0 feedback from our podcast. So wager. Yeah, no one emailed me, which is maybe because I didn't give out our email address.
That's rough. They can still find the email address.
They could still. So I'm disappointed in the listeners. Okay, if we ask you to interact, don't hesitate to shoot me a text, email, DM on Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
A few people gave us some love on Instagram and
They did.
made some picks. They were all wrong too.
They were all wrong. But so I picked Dustin Johnson, and that dude, God, he just could not. I mean, he was hitting it well. He was hitting it on the green. Just could not make any putts.
He's another one like Brooks. When I watched him, he missed a lot of putts. He had a lot of looks.
He had a ton of looks, so he ended up +1, T35. Who did you end up picking?
So I picked Rory for this one, and I got myself a top 10. But I honestly, when I picked Ricky Fowler, it was a hope, right? It was a wish.
Yeah.
When I picked Phil at the Masters, it's a wish. It's who I want to win. Good storyline. But with Rory, I honestly believed he was going to win, coming off of his RBC championship, the way he was playing. And he started off pretty well, and then he just made a couple big numbers. He'd make a double. He'd come back with a couple birdies, but you can't do that in the major championships. You can't make those big numbers every day.
Well, and to eliminate some of his big scores, that dude, God, he made so many birdies out there, especially on Sunday. Shoot, it looked at times like he was going to win this thing, and he kept making doubles and triples and just making just some poor mistakes. And then we got to so Laura picked Tiger Woods. He had a good stretch on, on 18, and Bernie.
Yeah, he got it back to under par. The ultimate grinder, right? Most guys with the type of career he has to go out and bogey 4 holes on the front 9 would probably pack it in.
Probably.
He goes and makes 6 birdies, shoots 2 under, and gets himself, in the top 20. Wherever he finished up, where did he finish? Top 21.
Yeah.
So, ultimate grinder. But Bernie and Laura, sorry, your picks are out. I really wish would have got a pick from Ben. He was 2 for 2.
He was 2 for 2. I don't think he would have picked Gary Woodland though.
I don't think so either.
I really don't. But so that was fun, and we'll have to do some more picks for the Open Championship over in Royal Port Rush.
Yeah, you know who the winner of our picks was?
Who was it?
Clarissa.
Clarissa did, yeah. So she killed it. She had a
Brookies.
Yeah, she picked Brookie, which I can't imagine Brooks Koepka enjoying that. Did you know they screwed up his name again? They screwed up on the card itself, and then when they were introducing him, they named him Bruce again. This guy can't get a break. He cannot.
Well, I did hear Brando Chambly today call Gary Woodland Gary Williams. The guy that won, he got his name wrong too. So.
You'd think those guys would get the names right, which I screw up everyone's name, so I don't really care. But yeah, Clarissa was
you know
T2?
why she picked him? You remember?
Because of his back muscles.
Back muscles.
Yeah.
Her and the 1,800 ladies that were following him, the older lady crowd. Me and JC, there's a couple of videos we took of Brooks, and we wanted to be in the front facing him so we could get a good picture of his swing and a good video of his swing. My wife and the other ladies didn't care. They wanted to get behind him. They wanted to see his butt and his back muscles.
Exactly.
So I've got video on my wife's phone of just his back.
Yep, just
him
his
swinging.
back, swinging, and then him bending over to grab the tee.
Yeah, and they're all just cheering when he do something like that. They didn't care where the ball went, if he hit it or not. It's like, oh yeah, bend over. Those white pants are nice.
That was So good job, Clarissa. We'll have to have her back on the podcast for the Open Championship.
She can try again.
Yeah, we can mail in our picks. So.
For our listeners, we did have a wonderful weekend up at Nakoma. We just got back yesterday. We're going to do a full podcast about that for you guys, talk about the Dragon. I don't know if this is true or not, but when I talked to my dad yesterday, he's over in Mexico, so I haven't seen him for a couple days. He told me Phil Mickelson's played the Dragon.
Really?
And Phil could not break par the first time he played there.
That's incredible.
Don't know if it's true.
We're gonna do some research and see if that's accurate.
Yeah, that's what he said. So.
And the Dragon is absolutely renowned for being what it used to be. When they built it, that was their goal. Their goal was to build the hardest golf course in the world. In my opinion, I don't think it's the hardest golf course in the world.
No.
I think it's very playable. I think if you are 30 handicap, you can go out there and have a fun day. I don't think you're going to make 8 birdies, but I think you're going to see a lot of views, and you're going to have a lot of fun shots, and you're going to be able to play and find. You're not going to lose every golf ball you bring. So we'll have a full podcast on Nakoma, the resort, the amenities, the restaurants, the wine tasting, and then we're going to cap it off with the Dragon and we're going to kind of walk you through what we thought and how our rounds went, and update you on the race to the bottle. Which
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for this podcast.
It's going to be really fun.
This place was amazing. Lives up to everything that we've been told about it. The golf course is tough but fair. We got lucky enough to play it 2 times in a row. One in the afternoon, one in the morning. Saw it both different times of the day. And the race to the bottle, ladies and gentlemen, it's over.
It is not over. It's not over until December 31st.
You'll hear about that in next week's podcast.
Absolutely. So, guys, really appreciate the download. Tell your friends about us. We really appreciate as we're slowly growing our podcast. So,
hey, we're over 200 followers on Instagram now.
We are coming up. Absolutely, we're making some moves. Check out some of our gear that we're going to be releasing. Some of the commercials that we recorded up at Nakoma that should be releasing in the coming weeks. And thanks for joining us. With that being said, cheers, guys. Have a great day.
Wearing all black, being aggressive, hitting bombs. Got to hit bombs off the tee to be able to get to those small sections. That's what I'm going to do today. Hit bombs and attack the pin.